Hello and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where last time we continued our investigations in the fourth case of the game, and so I'm nervous, to say the least, because last time we learned that, according to Van Zeeks, the Reaper, who's been taking out all the people that Van Zeeks failed to prosecute correctly and were declared innocent, falsely I guess, was Assassin, who we know as Giselle Brett, and that the mastermind who orchestrated the attacks was Inspector Gregson. Now, I don't buy either of those things because it would be so randomly out of character for Gregson to be the mastermind. I can't wrap my head around it. Also, this notice, this is the biggest sticking point for me, is this does not look like the notice. First of all, I don't believe that they would be this obvious about it, that they were actually trying to orchestrate these attacks. Second of all, this does not scream planning. This screams trying to figure something out. This screams attention from someone who's, like, trying to piece together the mystery, trying to piece together the mystery of the Reaper of the Bailey. I don't buy that this is Gregson's, like, master plan thing, right? Like, I don't buy that. But it makes even less sense for Assassin, just because we know that she can travel overseas, so you'd think that Van Zeeks would also be aware of that if he dug into her. And because his whole thing is like the Reaper doesn't go overseas, or the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch out overseas. So you'd think that would have some influence into his, I don't know. So my point there is that I don't believe either of those things, but that was yesterday, and then I went to sleep, and while I was falling asleep, I got to thinking, and I started thinking about all the different ways this game can end, given just all the pieces of information we have, and how I've seen people reacting in the comments, and honestly, I'm downright terrified. I am downright terrified that they're gonna screw this up, because there are so many ways that they could butcher this ending with all that has been set up throughout the Chronicles up until this point. They could so easily butcher this ending that I am downright terrified that they're not going to be able to stick the landing here. So, crossing my fingers, and we're going to keep pressing on, but I'm really nervous that they're going to butcher this. So let's just keep moving. Well, we ended yesterday with trying to go to the prisoner, the prison. Wait, what was that? I feel a strange connection with this place, knowing it's where. Oh, right, okay. So we're gonna go here because we need to gain more information about what happened with the prisoner's. With the professor's failed execution. So we're gonna go back here and see if we can dig up any more information. Hey there, buddy.
Back again, are you?
Yes. Hello.
I've heard all about your investigations. I read the report just now. You've found him, eh? Vigil.
Yes, luckily. Well, more like he found us, but, you know.
Well, anywho. The laddie doesn't work here no more, so your case is not to do with Barkley. I would like you to get the wrong idea about that.
Of course, yes. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago now, so...
Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given the chop.
Hey, Kimmer, you can very well. So, how about a wee handcuff biscuit?
Oh, you really are like little handcuffs, and as hard as irons, too.
So, what's brought you down here today?
Well, there's something else we'd like to ask you about, actually.
Is that so?
Yes, we believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asogi's cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something.
Well, that caught him off guard. Did I no say? Gregson's death is not to do with things that might have happened at Barkley. Leave the past in the past, laddie. Let's not further about with irrelevant details. His expressions changed completely. We're clearly onto something here.
Yeah, I don't buy that for a second. This is just the most distracting thing in the world. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is on repeat all day long. Like, it's just like, it's thematically on point for it to be in this room. It's just a little distracting. Anyway, let's chat about 10-year-old legacy.
That murderer's botched execution and the whole miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour, eh? A shocking embarrassment.
Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean?
Aye, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution, Corny Scythe.
Oh, what a shocker. I never could have thought that Courtney Scythe would have had anything to do with this.
No. And my chief warder at the time, Vigil, who was in charge of the whole affair.
But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it.
The rascal wouldn't say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs?
Oh, how could I say no?
You can never. Wait, what did she just say? She just said, you can never have too much iron in your diet. Okay, then. When Mr. Vigil was handed this dismissal notice as a result of what had happened, he was so desperate to do something or other that he jumped out the window, I think. He was so he was so despairing, he jumped out of your office window, didn't he?
I don't like to say, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. Do you not think he wouldn't have jumped from the shock of his crimes and being exposed, eh? I do.
You wouldn't say otherwise, though, would you?
Of course, I cannot shun all responsibility myself. I shouldn't have let him deceive me. Actually, there's barely anybody that kens what went on at the time now. Will Gregson having been murdered and Dr. Scythe forbidden from having any visitors?
No visitors? Someone obviously doesn't want him giving anything away.
Well, we're not going home empty-handed.
And I wouldn't dream of sending you packing with nothing, Kimmer. Here, take a handcuff or two.
I knew you were gonna offer that.
Well, it'd be rude to say no. Wouldn't want to become anemic.
Yeah, I don't care about your stupid little biscuits. We're here for something a little bit more interesting than that.
I suppose if there's anybody who might still care about what happened then... It'd be that last from the forensic division, Maria Gore.
You have someone in the forensic division whose last name is Gory? Really? Really? Is it part of the hiring process that everyone in this universe just gets, like, above qualifications, it's does your name have a pun-related relevance to what you're actually going to be working in? If yes, you got the job. If no, sorry, you get the boot. You can't work here.
Aye, Scythe's daughter. She didn't have no...
Okay, so, okay.
She didn't have no more, just the one. But the wee Burns followed in her mom's footsteps. She didn't ever see a whale scalpel in her hand.
Ah! Yeah, you know, we met her. We met her in the. Trust me, I remember. I'm not purging that image from my mind anytime soon. The freaking Zero Time Dilemma penguin outfit that that's just, you know, in a room with a giant skeleton in the corner and a crow and an owl staring into my soul and a skull on the top left on the shelf back there. You didn't really need to have more things that were trying to disturb me and scar me for life, but sure enough, in walks the penguin from Zero Time Dilemma. It's just, sure, let's add more creepy factors into the mix. Dr. Scythe's daughter, Maria Gory, we could do with talking to her. And where can we find this... Gory? So, she's Dr. Scythe's daughter, but her surname is Gory?
Hey, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I don't know the ins and outs of it.
We have Dr. Scythe and Maria Gory. Quite a forensic family got going on there.
She grew up watching her mom working with the bodies of folk who died in strange circumstances,
And you said, oh, Mommy, I want to work with the dead people one day.
and decided to do the same with her own life. I can't understand it myself.
Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother, or a deep admiration of corpses. That'd be weird.
Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy, I believe.
Right, and the coroner responsible for this incomplete report.
Someone told me once that the wee lassie always loved her mom's stories about cutting up.
Okay, yeah, that... You know, I was kind of joking earlier about the whole...
Oh, Mommy, I love dead bodies. I want to work with them one day.
And then you're... okay. Sit down, sweetie. Let me tell you a bedtime story.
Ooh, can you tell the one about the bisected liver? Ooh, that was a really great one. That was full of gory details. Like my name. That's my favorite story you told me about cutting up dead bodies. Like,
This is just creepy. It's just weird. Like, this... this is strange.
Did you remember that she used to listen to the funeral marches a lot?
She doesn't need your help, dude. Dude, I promise you, she doesn't need your help to sound even more creepy than she already does. I promise you. That's not required. She needs no assistance. From the moment I met her, she was freaking me out with the stupid penguin getup. Yeah, sure. She listens to stories about autopsies and cutting up dead bodies as bedtime stories. She listens to the funeral march. It's a lullaby. Heck, she even practices actual autopsies on living things like the pet dog. And I always wonder why they can never hold down a steady pet. Like, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the next words out of your mouth were,
There's even a rumor that she actually used to practice live autopsies on real animals.
Well, then perhaps she's a total whack job. Her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago.
Aye, I say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us.
We really need to speak to Mr. Gory herself about this, I think. Well, thank you very much.
I'm not happy about any part of this. It took 10 years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you not give up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions.
I'm sorry, I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone.
Can you not just stay away now? Leave me alone and do not come back here, eh?
I can't, well, I mean, the last time we said that, we were wrong, so, you know, I'm not gonna make any promises.
How would you come to know about that, laddie? There's no many folk even here in the prison who've heard of those papers.
Well, I can't tell him Mr. Vigil told me.
I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir.
We've been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and testament, is that right? The professor's, or rather, Genshin Asogi's.
No point hiding it, just come out with it. Aye, that's right. You're well informed, Jimmy.
Oh, is that the end of the silent treatment? But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell, didn't it?
Havers no. You're off at half-cock there. I think you did not get your facts straight. It was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been.
Oh, not what we heard elsewhere.
Let me just have a wee look around here. I'm sure I can find it. Hi, here you are. See?
The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi, written with a calligraphy brush.
Of course, I cannot read a word of those Japanese squiggles. But in mind it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his homeland.
Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it.
So these are the Asogi papers?
Aye, of course they are. Papers written by Asogi, no doubt about it. There's no mystery here, laddie. That's your lot. After all this drama of that slicer of an execution, we sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it.
I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruhodo, just in case.
The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi that Mr. Vigil claims to be after the convict's execution. Apparently Mr. Asogi described it as the only weapon I have left. Okay.
One thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, yes?
Those papers are not to do with Gregson's death. I'd prefer it if you didn't make no mention of them outside his office. Or rather, I would just prefer it. Consider it an order from the highest levels of our government.
Maybe you shouldn't have given them to us then, because we make no promises. We are going to use them as evidence in court. Or if we don't, then we're just going to show them to someone else. In fact, what we're probably going to end up doing is we're probably going to have to show them to Kasuma at some point. Like, hey, can you explain what this is all about? Anyway, so I guess I may as well read this to see if there's anything suspicious. I, Genshin Asogi, hereby request that upon my death, any non-material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London be delivered to my son and Kazuma Asogi in the Empire of Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, in the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again. I mean, I shouldn't be feeling sad. Well, because there's still the question of why his execution was stopped. Like, is it because they knew he was innocent and wanted to get him out of there, or is it because the people who were on his team of murderous scumbags wanted to get him out of there so they keep doing evil things? If it's the latter, then yeah, well, he just sucks then. But if it's the former, then that's just like, oh dear God, that's the big sad. But I regret nothing about my chosen path. Okay, interesting, very interesting indeed. Anyway, so I guess that's all we have to do here. So where have we not gone yet? I guess we should probably, I mean, honestly, if there were ever a time to talk to Kazuma, it'd probably be now, right? Where was Kazuma? Oh, here, prosecutor's office. Okay, let's go. Let's go see what's going on in here. Oh, my dear lord. November 2nd, prosecutor's office. Wow, you already have another mock set up. So this is the office of Prosecutor Asogi now, is it?
Kazuma-sama's doing so well for himself.
Even though he's always forced to kneel on the floor Japanese style in that dark corner.
It's his habit to sit Seisa style wherever he's working.
So I guess this would be considered not working then. Kazuma!
Who disturbs my slumber? I thought it wouldn't be long before you paid me a visit, Rinosuke. I was right about what I said, wasn't I?
Sorry?
That you have all the makings of a great defense lawyer.
Well, I always believed that you'd fulfill your dream of advocating in the British courts. I just never imagined for 1 second that it would be as a prosecutor, against me, no less. Stop, I can't. I'm just not looking at the screen anymore. I can't with those stupid eyes.
Seeing you stand in a foreign courtroom so gallantly realizing your dream, Kazuma-sama, I'm truly happy for you.
And I am truly thankful to you, Judicial Assistant Mikotaba.
Are we gonna do a Suits thing here? I don't want to do a Suits thing. There's a thing in Suits where two characters... Well, I'll just say the names. They're not gonna be... I'm guessing most people who are watching this don't even know what Suits is, so I'll just say it. Harvey and Lewis, Harvey's secretary is a character called Donna, and then a couple seasons later, Harvey and Donna have a falling out, so then Donna goes to work for Lewis instead, and it's like a big thing. Can we not do that here? Can we not fight over Susato? Can we not do that? Let's not do that. Let's just be cool about this, shall we?
I always thought it would be fun for you and I to shake up the British legal system a little together. This isn't quite how I envisioned it, but I suppose it's just another twist of fate.
I've learned a lot of things during my time in London, but how Susato-san's father was a complete asshole. A visiting student here once along with Judge Jikogu, and about what happened with your father.
Then you'll have no difficulty understanding why I had no choice, why I had to find a way to get to Britain as a visiting student myself.
I want to hear it from you, Kazuma.
As you wish, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
I feel like that would have had more impact if we said his full name first, but, you know. Okay. Your disappearance. We got a lot of questions for you, buddy. It's getting on for a year now, since what happened on the SS Buria. We were headed across the oceans from Japan to Great Britain, when a bizarre series of coincidences led to those tragic events. That's one way to describe it. I thought I'd lost my best friend forever.
I must have been unconscious for a long time. When I awoke, I was lying on a bed. It was a narrow little room. There was a posse of flowers by the pillow. It took me a little while to realize that I was in the cabin of a ship. I slipped out of the room and headed up to the deck.
Were you already suffering from amnesia at that point?
Yes. I didn't know what had happened or where I was. There was just this voice in my head. You have something you have to do. Something no one else can know about. Go to Great Britain. Your task awaits you there.
Await further instructions when you get to your destination. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
It was a calling I couldn't ignore. It compelled me relentlessly. Out on deck, I saw that I was on a huge steamship and we were docked in a large port.
Must have been Hong Kong.
Yes, it must have been. Presumably just before they were due to carry your body off the ship.
I had no idea of the situation, but I did have the feeling that this was in some way my last chance. So I concealed myself among the disembarking passengers and went ashore. Then I disappeared into the crowded streets of that foreign port city, so I could plan my onward journey to Great Britain.
Yeah, you made quite the trek, my dude.
Just under a year ago, with all my past memories lost to me, I was left behind in Hong Kong. Everything was foreign to me. The sights, the sounds, the smells. My head reeled. I was truly at a loss. I realize now that I had escaped as a dead man, with nothing but the clothes on my back. No money, of course.
Oh, how terrifying for you.
Luckily, though, I had 2 feathers in my cap.
One being your knowledge of English, I suppose?
That's right. And on the back of that, I was able to pick up some work as a deckhand on a cargo ship. Eventually, after calling at countless ports, I finally arrived at Dover. That must have been some 3 months ago now.
Your formidable tenacity of purpose showing itself again. I mean, the man had lost his memory and had literally nothing to his name, but he still managed to make his way to London on the opposite side of the world.
Of course. I had no idea why I'd moved heaven and earth to get here at that point.
So, how did you end up becoming Lord Van Zieks' apprentice then?
That can only be called an extraordinary stroke of luck, really. You see, I was stopped at the border because I had no papers. It took me straight to Scotland Yard, and by sheer coincidence, Lord Strongheart was there to attend a meeting. That's when the second feather in my cap came into play.
Would that have been your knowledge of the law?
Yes, exactly. Lord Strongheart was curious about an Easterner with intimate knowledge of British law. He took me back with him to the Supreme Court and assigned me to the prosecutor's office.
And then, 9 days ago, you finally got your memory back after this trial involving Drebber.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I don't trust Lord Strongheart or his motivations in any capacity. Now, and that might have something to do with the fact that, you know, just the way he's presented on the cover art, or maybe his entire character design, or just really everything about him. But I don't trust his motivations. I don't think they're of pure heart at all. I'm just kind of waiting for it to be revealed. Like, you know, spoilers for Incredibles 2, although I don't really consider it spoilers because from literally the first second this character was on screen, I'm like, yeah, so you're like evil. It was the Incredibles 2. There's a character whose name is literally Evil Endeavor. So the second and even just the character design, like the way that the character is presented, in that she's in the shadows of every scene, and just the way that she's designed and the way her behavior and her mannerisms, before I even knew what her name was, I'm like, yeah, so you're the twist villain. And then when they said her name and it was Evil Endeavor, like, literally that's an Ace Attorney level pun. Evil Endeavor is literally her name. I'm like, yeah, so you're just evil then. You're just evil. So then I'm just waiting for the moment when the film would catch up with the audience and be like, all right, yeah, we know, she's evil. Come on, drop the hammer. We know she's evil. That's the same thing here. I'm just waiting for the game to catch up with us and be like, oh yeah, he's evil, by the way. I'm like, yeah, we knew from the third case of the first game. Thanks, though. Ever since I first met you at Yuma, you talked about your dream.
Mark my words, Ryunosuke. I'll be chosen as a visiting student and make my way to Great Britain someday. And my my bandana will still be aimlessly flapping in the wind via the invisible fan.
Did you know the entire time about what happened to your father here?
16 years ago. When my father left on that exciting trip to Great Britain, I was just a boy. We took a photograph together the day before his departure. It's my last memory of him, but what I remember most about my father is his unswerving sense of justice. 6 years after he left, a gentleman called at our family home. He told me that Genshin, my father, had been taken ill in England and passed away. It was Professor Mikotaba, your father, Susato-san.
Oh my!
Ever since then, the professor was very good to me. He even helped to fund my university education at Yumai. I'll be forever in his debt.
So he cares more about you than, oh dear God almighty, it just keeps getting worse.
But nevertheless, I just couldn't bring myself to believe what he told me.
Oh!
Then one day, a letter arrived at our house from Britain. There was no indication of the sender, so I opened it assuming it was from an old acquaintance of my father. What I read in that letter changed my entire life.
What did it say?
It said that my father had been a mass murderer, and the writer cursed the Asogi name.
Oh no!
As a result of that letter, I found out what had been hidden from me all those years.
Well, I can take a shot in the dark at what that might be all about.
Presumably the letter was sent from a relative of one of the victims.
Fancies! What?
If whoever it was had been a member of the judiciary, he could have been present at the closed trial. The letter revealed that my father had been sentenced to death, executed for being a killer.
I'm so sorry you had to find out that way.
I imagine the British government did its very best to silence whoever sent that letter, but someone who knew the truth and couldn't bear the resentment was always going to be a problem.
But still, it could have been written by anyone. Why would you believe such a thing?
There was a newspaper cutting included with that letter. It was the first I'd ever heard of the professor and his terrible killing spree.
Well, what did my father have to say about the letter?
I couldn't bring myself to show it to him.
Why not?
Because he deliberately concealed the truth from me by telling my father was taken by a fatal illness.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, that's perfectly on brand for him. All of it, the lying, the concealing vital information, the telling someone important to you that you're actually ill when you're really not. This is all perfectly on brand as far as I'm concerned.
That couldn't have been easy for him.
I think it's just as easy as blinking for him.
And he'd done it out of consideration for my feelings. So instead, I showed the letter to Judge Jikogu.
To the other visiting student.
He faltered for the briefest of moments, but then he just left the letter off. Also perfectly on brand for him to do. But in that moment, I saw it on his face. He was undeniably shocked, shaken momentarily before recovering his poise. A year later, my bereaved mother succumbed to the strain of grief and she too passed away. That's when I made up my mind that one day, without fail, I would cross the seas to Britain and seek the truth for myself. The truth about my father, Genshin Asogi. And I wouldn't let anyone stand in my way.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
I gotta... You're, this is the power of writing. When you look at someone like this and you forget that they're real, or so you forget that they're fake, and you listen to the dialogue, you hear... They don't even have voice actors. I mean, they do have voice actors, but not throughout most of the game. It's just me reading this. You listen to the dialogue, you read the dialogue, and you can see the conviction in their faces, and you forget that they're just, like, sprites on a screen, or 3D models on a screen. Because that's the power of really talented writers so that they can make you feel for their journey. Like, his journey throughout this entire game and everything he's gone through is just... my god. Oh, and on a slightly unrelated topic, hey, other writers of similar game franchises, similar inferior game franchises, if you wanted to have a twist where, say, someone who was presumed to be dead wasn't actually dead and came back to life, this is how you do it. You don't do what you tried to do in a certain episode of a certain television show, and you just snap your fingers. You don't do that. You can do a thing where a character you thought was dead came back to life. You can do that. It can be done well, and Kazuma is proof of it. But what you pieces of shit did was not it. That wasn't it, Chief. It just wasn't.
It was an impressive piece of lawyering, Rinosuke Naruhodo.
Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, you know. I almost don't want to believe it myself, but it turns out that Inspector Gregson himself, the victim, was...
It's clear that the Inspector was behind the Reaper's activity all along.
What? You mean you knew?
The real question is, who's been giving orders to the Inspector? Yes, Beric Von Zieks is the real Reaper.
I don't buy any of this.
And I know that 10 years ago it was him who decided my father must be a mass murderer and sent him to his grave.
No! He was merely seeing that justice was done as the law dictates. He's not to blame.
Ultimately, it's people who condemn people. The law is just a tool that they use to do it. And when a man condemns another, he must take responsibility for his actions. Of course he must. But I know for certain that my father would never have taken another man's life.
Kazuma.
On the contrary, my father's life was taken by the Reaper.
Okay. I don't buy that Beric Von Zieks is the Reaper, and I certainly don't buy that Gregson was the Reaper, and I certainly don't buy that Assassin was the Reaper. I don't buy any of this. I do not believe any of this. Which is kind of why, because I plan to finish recording the entire game today, not in this episode, but in this one session that I'm going to sit down and record for, because I am terrified of how this game is going to end, and and that they're going to screw it up. So I just gotta get to the end to see if they stick the landing or not.
Rinosuke, I want to thank you.
What for?
For this. You safeguarded the soul of the Asogi clan.
Well, it is a famous soul that's been in your family for generations. My only slight regret is that I never got the chance to draw it before I returned to you.
Karuma is said to have been forged by a master swordsmith during the Sengoku Warring States period. I come from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom were expert swordsmen.
Well then, you're a chip off the old block, I'd say.
This blade, Karuma, is the symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname.
What? One of your what did what now? Wait a minute, whoa, slow the hell down. One of your what did a what now? Oh! I keep opening the wrong thing. The blade Karuma is the symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might, and one of your father's apprentices took the blade's name for a surname. Karuma. Which someone has pointed out to me in the comment sections before, means karma. As in, Von Karma. So, what you mean to tell me is that it's your fault. Not your fault, but one of your father's apprentice, so it's his fault. So this blade is to blame for the oh dear. Okay then. Yikers, McGee. So that wasn't on the to-do. That wasn't on the bingo card either. On the list of things on the bingo card, the Von Karma family name stemming from your sword. Not on the list. That was not on the bingo card. Gotta be honest. Oh my god. Okay. That probably has nothing to do with the plot. That'll probably never come up again. But can we stop with the constant bombshells? Like, really? Really? Karuma, That sounds formidable, that's for sure. Yeah, well, formidable to everything except a single bullet in a plastic bag.
16 years ago, when my father was a visiting student here in London, he had this sword forever at his side, which is why it means so much to me that I have it by my side again now, too. Yeah, well, I got some bad news about what the name of that sword's gonna turn into in the future, and that is all thanks to you. It was an honor. I mean, it probably wouldn't be that hard to keep it safe, but you know, it's the thought that counts. Now, I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I said a little too much.
Kazuma, you've changed.
No, Rinosuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who's changed.
I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Van Zieks given what happened, but the fact is, those events in this case are, well...
Unrelated? Is that what you want to say? How can you be so sure?
What do you mean?
Never mind. That man is the Reaper, and it's for that reason that the inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary.
I can't let you do that, Kazuma.
I know you'll do what you have to as a lawyer, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I won't be taking any prisoners in the courtroom.
I will expect nothing less.
Until tomorrow, then, in the Old Bailey.
You know, I gotta be honest, it's kind of this weird meshing of, because the whole case screams well, not in execution, but conceptually it screams turnabout goodbyes with the whole, like, the prosecutor is the defendant, oh noes, whatever will we do? But also, this kind of screams, like, the way you have Phoenix and Edward facing off against each other. This is kind of like, this with Rinosuke and Kazuma facing off against each other, it kind of echoes that. But also, it echoes, like, the idea of someone who you look up to as a defense lawyer standing across from you as a prosecutor, much the same way Phoenix did in Tournament Revolution. Just, the whole game kind of feels like maybe a love letter to the series is a little too strong, because there haven't been, it's not like it's been a constant outpouring of fan service moments and things like that, but it's just little things here and there that you can look to and kind of see how it echoes back to previous games. It's kind of neat to see. Anyway, fun talking with you, but we've got a psychopath to talk to, and her name is Maria Gori, and she fantasizes about cutting up bodies. So let's go talk to her. Oh dear God, your mother's been gone for one day, and you've already completely transformed her office, because it was not like this previously. It was not this pink previously. This place really is creepy, isn't it?
Well, being a dead room, probably full of the spirits of the dissected, but actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air. Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needs a bold scent like that to mask the odor of death.
Given that her name is Maria Gori and what we know about her, I'm pretty sure she revels in it. Iris, do you think we could change the subject? Okay, time to go. Nope, turn around. That's enough for today. Nope, time to go. See you later. That's enough for today. What? What was that? That's the sound of a supervillain skulking in the corner. Listen to that! That is a supervillain just slinking in the corner like maniacal villains stroking their cat, except instead of stroking their cat, they're sharpening the blades like, welcome to my lair. Perry the Platypus, welcome to my evil lair. Oh dear God. Like, this is not the desk of a sane human being. This is the desk of an absolute psychopath. And there's a stupid penguin mask over there. What is she wearing now? Dr. Gori? Oh, never mind. She's redonned the penguin mask. So she has a second... You're just like is your goal to creep out everyone that you meet? Is that the goal, to just freak the hell out of everyone? That noise before.
I was sharpening my tools. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on them.
Right.
When following the collagen fibers in the dermis, an expertly sharpened scalpel cuts like cheese. Would you like to demonstrate?
Nope, nope.
Oh, yes, please.
Iris, shut up. Nope, we don't. No. We do not need a demonstration. No. Time to go. Nope, time to go. Turn around. Run the other direction. This lady's off her rocker. This lady's crazy. She's a psychopath. Time to go now. Was that a tut? Well, we came here to ask questions, so can we do that without taunting me with your stupid knives of death? And the butcher's blade, maybe. Do you need the butcher? Like, I'm sorry, you're supposed to be a coroner and you have a butcher's blade. Maybe a little bit of overkill. Like, maybe we dial back the insanity levels here, friends. Okay. Well, so long as you're here, I have some questions. We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember, the last time you tried to kill me.
Not dead yet.
What?
So Mama said I wasn't to cut you open. He's so strict about things like that.
You're insane! Well, good. Dr. Side has some scrupulous, at least.
Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us. For the time being, anyway.
Okay, what if I shout, for the time being, you mean until we die? Oh, that's a way off. Yeah, well, if you're not interested in talking, then how about I show you something that'll get you to talk? Stop looking at me with that creepy... Like, the fact that she's holding the butcher's blade and the scalpel is almost secondary to the fact that she's staring into my soul with that creepy-ass Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma penguin face. Like, I don't want it to be understated how creepy this freaking mask is. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. Yeah, so if you're not going to talk to us, then why don't we show you your, well, I mean, you can call it a mistake, but I would call it a deliberate omission. However you want to phrase it. Dr. Goy, we actually came to ask you about this.
He was very good.
Good? Sorry?
His skin didn't snag my blade once, and very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with.
Stop talking! We can skip those details. You are a freak. But there is one thing about the report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded the time of death. Uh-oh. We pointed out... Oh! Okay, you're much easier to look at when you don't have the creepy-ass mask off, but hey, looks like... Oh, so not my fault. Okay, so we're meant to believe that it wasn't a deliberate omission, which I guess would make sense, because I imagine the only thing that would get her to fling off her face mask is if we actually pointed out a mistake she made. It's like,
what? You question the integrity of my work? How dare you impugn my cutting abilities? My ability to cut into the flesh of a human being.
you're just so weird.
That's not my fault.
Oh, that made me jump.
Then please, tell us what happened.
Okay, we're making great progress. First we lost the mask. Can we also lose the butcher's blade and the scalpel, maybe? Maybe, please? So why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death, then? It's really the most crucial detail. No, not again. Well, at least our victory was short-lived.
I was told not to write it.
What? By whom?
Maelstrom.
Oh, was he now? Oh, did you? Oh, did he? Did he tell you that? Really? Really? Oh, I never. God, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked. I never could have imagined that the man who has that presence on. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I didn't even know who he was. Because for the moment I pre-ordered this game, it was available on my Switch screen. So I've had a lot of time to look at the cover art. I didn't even know who the character was in the background, but I knew, it's like, yeah, you're the villain. Like, I knew from the second I saw him, you're gonna be the villain of the game. It's not even close. It's just, you don't portray a character in that manner and then have him not be the villain. That's just not how this works. Lord Strongheart came? There are dark jokes to be made about Lord Strongheart in this room and a series of... Never mind, I'm not, nope, not going down that rabbit hole.
The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on November 1st when the gunshot was heard.
But that's all the time of death you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it? Dr. Gory, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later you're going to go the same way as your mother.
Give it here, then.
I'm sorry, that's just creepy. Like, look at that desk. Look at this room. This is just creepy. Like, I get that this room is creepy before she came here. Dr. Sai had already done her job with the skeleton and the crow and the owl and the skull. But she made it even worse. She made it even more creepy than it was previously. I didn't think it was possible to make this room freak me out even more. But once again, I'm proven wrong. I messed up again. I think it can't get worse, and I'm always wrong. It can always get more creepy.
There.
You've written...
What? What's he written? Tell us.
Indeterminate.
But...
Okay. An accurate estimation of time and death is not possible. Well, I mean, I guess that's one way to go about doing it. What do you mean by that? Why was time of death indeterminate?
When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh. Ugh, juicy, just the way I like it. So the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard.
I feel like my voice here might be crossing over with Dr. Hottie from Justice for All, but I mean, different types of creepy people. But I think the voice still fits.
But there was one small discrepancy.
What discrepancy?
There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen.
Of course there was. Of course there was, and that fish had started to rot. What?
The victim liked fried fish. He presumably likes to eat it before it went off.
Well, yes. What are you really trying to say?
It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death.
Manipulate the... Is that even possible to do? Oh, you... It's always... You always gotta remember that this is like... This is early chronology in the world of Ace Attorney, so the things we know about from the future have not quite been established yet.
Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overkill wasn't on the body at the time,
then only the fish would have started to rot!
With today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not.
But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems.
But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not. Maybe in a factory, or some other special places?
I don't really recall seeing any factories such like on Fresno Street, though. I wonder if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow, what might the actual time of death have been?
I couldn't say for sure. But at the most, it might have been a day earlier.
No! In other words, it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. That Inspector Gregson was killed a day before his body was discovered at a different location. Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility?
He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the facility.
Okay, so do we need to find one then? I guess we need to find one. All right, there's our next mission, to find the refrigerator which he was hidden. Oh yes, one other thing. It's something the governor of Barclay Prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. Scythe, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution.
The professor?
Apparently you always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so we were wondering if you might know something about what happened 10 years ago.
That's not all Mama did.
Sorry?
My mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks as well.
What? Really? The brother of Lord Van Zeeks, the professor's final victim.
The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then, but the detective in charge of the investigation insisted that it was miraculously authorized.
That detective being Inspector Gregson, of course. Quite an accomplishment for one man.
That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to arrest the killer. And Mama was there for that historic event.
Oh, was she now? What does this all mean?
You know, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The professor and Clint Van Zeeks. They both spent their final moments before their burial on the dissection table there. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events.
Shreddy is proud of him. I would have gone with insane, but I guess proud of her mother also works too. I wonder if you tell us more about what exactly happened back then, Dr. Gory. I guess, is that a yes? That's a yes. All right, let's get to talking.
The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclay Prison's execution chamber and signed the certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama's the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her.
But the execution didn't actually take place.
No, and worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know.
Yeah, well, now you do.
Oh dear, you found out recently, you mean? I believed in her, and Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her.
Okay, so she's insane, but she at least has somewhat of a moral compass. You mean because you omitted the time of death in this autopsy report? But that's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it.
Just like Mama. I'm sure she was coerced by somebody, too.
Yes, that's my feeling as well.
There's no doubt that there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well. The big man with the littlest handcuffs? According to what he told us, he was tricked by the chief warder. He says he knew nothing about it. Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing.
Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? You know, it'd make a lot of sense if Strongheart was actually the I hate to say it this way, but the man who masterminds this game. Because like I said, he's clearly, everything about his presentation makes him out to be the final villain, and it would make a lot more sense for him to be the one that we chase down in the final pursuit than freaking... Because the thing that I'm stuck on is the fact that from a writing perspective, it makes no sense at all to kill off both Gregson and Assassin if those are the two that orchestrate all this. Because the game is trying to imply that Gregson was the brains and Assassin was the brawn. They're both dead now, meaning that if we are to believe Van Zeeks, we are headed into the final case of the game with both of those characters dead. That is insane. I refuse to believe that that's the route that we're going down. You mentioned in the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks.
It was at a time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. It's still not a practice that's observed in our country even now. It turned out that he was the professor's final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as a secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, my daddy! This is not the time to breach the subject. And there was one other person present, the primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East.
Wait, a visiting student?
It must have been my father, Yuji Mikotaba.
I never could have guessed it. I never could have guessed it. Who could have guessed that Mikotaba, who's been messing up everything, it was Mikotaba all along. Like, he thinks he's so friendly because we use his influence. We use his influence to get into the prison because he thinks because he signed a cute little letter for us that all is forbidden, or not forbidden, forgiven. What even is this thing, anyways? Is this just his business card? Oh, what the Blackbird line? Oh, is this his boat ticket?
Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Groose, first class cabin 001. Yokohama departure September 11th, London arrival November 1st.
Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikotaba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's called a Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover.
To think that it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Buria. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary.
I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone?
Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo?
Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Okay. That was something that needed to be updated? Interesting. I was just examining this out of curiosity, but I guess that's gonna be important for something? Okay then, moving on now. Anyway, yeah, Mikotaba sucks, moving on. I know what if Professor Mikotaba could have been solved. Oh, really? You couldn't have really? You couldn't have imagined he would be involved in something so important? Okay. You clearly haven't met the same person that we have.
But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor.
Oh, was it now? So that's how they came to identify Genshin Asogi as the infamous mass murderer. Do you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us any more? Oh, great.
Well, we'd like to see the records for yourself.
Oh, I honestly thought that she would say no.
What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them?
Hey, okay, you know what? She's still creepy. She's still, like, weirdly fetishizing autopsy, cutting up dead people, and apparently yearning to do it to live people as well. This is a little strange, but, and this room is creepy as all hell, but she does have a moral compass. She's kind and considerate to some extent, and she's helpful, so you know what? She's not so bad. Thank you. Honestly, I expected to get a lot of pushback from that request, but okay. Let's see, Van Zeeks. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruhodo? They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zeeks. Are you that's interesting.
There must be.
Perhaps somebody took them away?
No one's allowed to take documents related to the presser case out of this room.
But you're right. They're gone. Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember?
It was... Oh, yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago. A consulting detective came one day, saying that he'd like to see the records.
No, you don't mean...
Erlock Sholmes was his name.
Yep, deep down I knew that was coming.
Do you think he stole the records?
Like, okay, so we know, wouldn't that be a subversion if he, like, obviously, to be clear, obviously, Airlock Sholmes is not the big bad of the game. Like, that would be insane if it was. That would never happen. But, like, imagine if it did. Imagine if the big twist at the end was that Airlock Sholmes was actually the mastermind behind all of this. That'd be insane.
Oh no, surely not. Iris, that can't be right. Can it?
Iris? 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 No, don't fade away. Iris? Yeah, we're not, what?
Runo? I hope you don't mind, but
What is it, Iris?
I just remembered something very important I have to do.
No, get back here.
It's very sudden, Iris.
No, don't you run away. No, sorry, no.
You want to
No, Iris, you will not leave. No, Iris, get back here. Iris, you little shit. What are you doing? You don't get to run away from this, Iris. You know something. You have vital information. You're not getting away from us, Iris. We demand information about the case. You're not running away. You're not no.
Wait a minute, little girl. Huh? Me?
Yes, you. You're the one who knows everything, apparently.
I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you?
Have you, Iris?
Yes. 2 years ago, when that detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then, too.
That's the way it usually works, yes.
Was I? I really don't remember. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash.
Iris, no. Wait, Iris. Iris, don't you...
I'll prove it out for you when you get...
Iris, no. Iris, what? Stop running away, Iris! We have vital information that we're missing here, and you have it. What are you doing? Iris? Of all people in the game to have a secret, her? Sweet little innocent Iris? Are you kidding me? Who doesn't? Alright, here's a question for you. Who doesn't have a secret in this game? Who in this game does not have a secret that they're keeping from me? Let's play that game instead. Are there any characters in the game that aren't keeping a dastardly secret from us? Do they exist? Is there any character? Because even Susato has held some things close to her chest. Anybody? Anybody at all? Just pick one. Just pick one character that doesn't have a secret and I'll shut my mouth. But this... Can we I can't even. Every character has something to hide. Every character in this game has something to hide. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely. Oh, you don't say, buddy. Put that together all by yourself now, did you? Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either. We have to go catch up to Iris before she runs away and we never learn the truth.
It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This is really fun. But next time you come, I prefer if you're ready for the section. I can't make any promises, sorry. Jesus. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy. It's a bit strange. I think we've asked all we came to ask now. Why do they care about, why? So, for some reason, Airlock Sholmes and Iris care about Clint Van Zeek's autopsy. Why the hell do they care about Van Zeek's autopsy? I mean, well, clearly they have some connection to Van Zeek. Well, I mean, not Iris. Iris has no connection to Van Zeek's. I'm talking about Sholmes. Obviously, Sholmes has something to do with Van Zeek's, and he just dragged her along for the fun of it, because it's elementary, my dear Wilson. Consider this a teaching moment for you, my dear Wilson. Every character has something to hide in this game. No one is safe from the secrets. Everyone in this game. I swear to God. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I guess it's time to leave. Let's go. We need to go to Fresno Street, right? To find the fridge that he was hiding in. November 2nd, ruin Fresno Street. That suitcase wasn't there before. The police are still busily investigating in here then. They're doing the same thing that they were doing the last time we were here. But Gina's nowhere to be seen. Where is she?
Yes, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, practicing what her boss taught her.
Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait?
Actually, there's something different about this room since the last time we were here, isn't there?
We could always use the time to investigate more thoroughly.
Or investigate the thing that is new. No, don't move. We just got here for... Okay. And examine... What's this doing here? This little trunk wasn't here before, was it?
Oh! It appears to be made of metal. It must be very heavy. I wonder to whom it belongs.
Well, if I were to guess by the color scheme, it looks like something that Gregson would have owned.
There's some initials outside. Look,
yeah, but it's asking thou shall receive, Tobias Gregson. Let's ask one of the policemen if they know how it came to be here.
Oh, what do you think you're doing?
Hey, Gina.
That's my trunk, that is. Hands off! Gina!
Where were you hiding? Well, as we know, she's very...
I don't know, you need something unattended for a few seconds. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got his greedy eyes on it.
Gina has a habit of hiding in plain sight, apparently. She's mastered the art of moving so slowly that she becomes invisible to the naked eye. And I get that that's a Marvel reference, and I'm kind of... Loki kind of destroyed my investment in the MCU. But you know what? I can't, like, the first 3 phases of the MCU mean too much to my heart. Like, I cared too much about those characters and those stories to let one stupid show destroy that. So basically, I'm just gonna pretend that Loki doesn't exist. Pretend it doesn't exist. Pretend that it stopped after Endgame, because, well, I guess far from true, but Endgame was the definitive ending. Like, I got, like, that final... I just gotta stop it there. Just, in my head, stop it there so I can actually continue to care about those characters, because I gotta say... honestly, I have never seen a more never in my life have I seen a theater so excited about anything than, well, the whole movie, but specifically the final battle, for reasons that you obviously know about if you've seen the movie, and also the final credit scene. The final credit scene where they show all the characters illuminated by the spotlights or whatever they did in post-production to make it look so cool. That final credit scene where, like, it was like a standing ovation. When the final 6, when the OG 6 Avengers popped up on the screen, it was like a standing ovation. Specifically for Robert Downey Jr. That was a cool moment to be there in the theater for. I wish I could experience something like that again soon. Anyway, just a wild guess, Gina, but what? Spit it out, Otto! Is it fair to say that you've only owned that trunk since this morning's trial?
What? What are you trying to say? Come on, this trunk is with me everywhere. I always ask, where you been the last year?
Trying not to incur your wrath, mainly. Okay. Well, I guess since you're here, I may as well ask you some questions.
You surely hear them talking at the yard now? They should be ashamed of themselves. They're saying, and it was the boss who killed all them lodgers.
You mean the whole Reaper thing?
Yeah. Apparently, the boss was investigating stuff that no one else in the yard knew nothing about. Stuff to do with all them criminals who got off scot-free.
Yes, the one prosecuted by Lord Van Zieks who used bribery and corruption to evade conviction.
Well, then obviously, it was that bloomin' Reaper giving the orders, weren't it?
But why would people be suspecting Inspector Gregson of being involved in the killings?
There was a notebook in his office.
Oh no, that doesn't sound good.
It had details about all the crimes that had been pegged as the Reaper's work.
What?
No! Did you see it, Gina? Did you see that notebook? They wouldn't flaming let me, because I'm just an apprentice, apparently. But it was me who found it, and he was my boss. That's right.
I thought there'd be more to that line.
I was pretty miffed about it, so I sneaked a peek at what it said anyway. Oh!
That's all, Gina. Doing exactly what she wasn't supposed to do, and helping everyone in the process. Except in the case of the final case of the first game. But anyway, so you managed to see what was written in Gerkson's secret notebook anyway, did you?
Well, I see it. It's my right to read what he wrote.
And what had he written, Gina?
Dates, times, places, names, and a long list of them. All details about the blood are supposed to have been done in by the Reaper. But there could be an explanation for that. Perhaps it was a record of the Inspector's investigations into the Reaper's activities. Exactly! That's what I said! That's the first thing you'd think, right? As it happens, it was full of names I recognised anyway.
Well, the Reaper's targets were almost exclusively known to leaders of the London's criminal underworld.
Well, yeah, but there was one name right at the end that was a bit odd.
At the end of the list, you mean?
Pretty sure the date against it was the 31st of October. Oh, the day before the Inspector was found dead.
So, what was the odd name?
It wasn't like a name I've ever seen before. It was something like, nah, it's no good. I can't remember it. I don't think it was an English name, put it that way. Oh dear, what a pity. There was something else too, I don't know if it matters, but the same name kept coming up over and over. Shin, it was. I suppose it means anything, but...
Yes, assassin. Oh, boy. Did you say Shin?
Eh? What does it mean something?
Lord Van Zieks knew the name too, he mentioned her as well. The woman who actually did the deeds. And now we found out her name appeared in Gregson's secret notebook. We haven't seen you for a little while, have we, Gina?
But of course not. I've been busy, ain't I? Investigating the night. The lads of the yard are trying to trace the boss's movements the day before it happened.
The day before, that'd be the undercover investigation into the Red-Headed League, then.
Only the boss didn't go, did he? You found some cove what was pretending to be him, didn't you, Odo?
Well, I mean, they say we found him, but we didn't really find him. He waddled into our courtroom. He found us.
Well, anyway, you ain't the only one who's turning stuff up. I've got my own ways of getting results.
Is it the dog? Doggo!
Well, me and my partner may get together, and nothing we can't track down. Oh, little Toby, he's such a faithful friend.
So, because with me and you and my dog Toby, we can do anything that we want to do. If you saw the message on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. Emotions. Manly emotions. So have you tracked anything down then?
What do you think, eh? Of course we have. Can't tell you though. Police business, didn't it?
Ugh. Oh, you know, I just... Thinking about it, it is a person donned in green attire with a puppy who likes to sniff out clues.
Anyway, the point is, if you ever need my help, you know who to turn to, right? Me and the hellhound here.
Right, because he looks oh so hellish, honest. The hellhound. Gina, about your hellhound there. She put him down and immediately picked him back up again.
Chief Inspector Toby, you mean? He's a part of the force, he is. In Japanese, the police dog means something quite different, and not altogether nice to those involved in crime. But here in Britain, it's a wonderful compliment it seems, for a canine at least.
It should be. After all, in the Great Exhibition case the other day, it was Toby who managed to locate Drebber's workshop.
Maybe it's time for another demonstration of what the stupid dog can do, eh?
Do we have something? Actually, yeah, we do. Now that you mention it, can you track this down for us? Well, Chief Inspector Toby, if you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. He might be a little too keen, don't you think?
Oh! Ah!
Love the animations of this game. Again, after the last 8 months, well, almost 8 months of my channel, it's kind of easy to forget that characters are more than just lifeless cardboard cutouts that can actually have emotion in their faces and their movements. Anyway, the Chief Inspector made short work of Gina there. Woof! Oh, look what he's gone to.
Oh my! The trunk clearly still has a very strong scent of Inspector Gregson.
In other words, it must have belonged to him. Oh, is that what we were trying to prove? Oh, I thought that the wig was gonna track us down to the Redheaded League itself, because they might have been put it on by someone else. I didn't think that's what we were doing, because I thought we already knew that it was his, and you nearly got away with it too.
You always talk so proudly of Chief Inspector Toby's nose and what it can achieve. Did it not cross your mind that he might identify something that was right next to us? Yeah, that was a bit of a bloomer, wasn't it?
That's enough now, Gina. Eh? I think it's time you told us the truth about that trunk. By which we mean, hand it over so we can inspect it.
It wasn't like that. It just weren't.
What are you talking about?
I know what's given to the ideals, but that ain't what happened.
Alright then, what did happen?
Well, like I said before, we were trying to trace the boss's movements. So I did Toby out of the whiff of the boss's overcoat, and as soon as I done that, he went off like a shot. Straight to that sandwich.
To a sandwich? Not to a bag of chips?
Listen, Naruhodo, I believe Gina means the witness.
Oh, I forgot about that sandwich.
Yeah, he had in between them wooden balls of his, the boss's trunk.
Huh. Interesting. You mean, when they heard the sound like a gunshot and all piled in here?
Exactly! He knouted for the scene! Goodness! Me and the Chief Inspector gave that sandwich a good grilling, and you know what he said? I thought it might fetch a good price and the chap wouldn't be needing it anymore, so... But that's all I did, nothing more, nothing. Would you rather me leave the chick off, eh? Still only dead boss stuff to flog!
So Miss Venus wasn't the only one to meddle with the scene of the crime, then?
How could they? So anyway, that's what happened, and it's a pretty decent trunk, so I figured I might as well make use of it. Is there something wrong with that, eh? Well?
Maybe you and Mr. Sandwich should try to find the answer to that question together. It's a pretty long investigation.
I think perhaps that trunk should be turned over to the police, don't you? What are you on about? I am the police!
Gina, if you wouldn't mind, could we maybe examine it?
Yeah, alright then. Do what you want with it. Thank you. We shall make a detailed record of our examination of the evidence.
Gregson's trunk. Alright, step 1, check the damn trunk. Oh dear, what happened? What's the matter with Toby? Why is he acting so aggressively towards me all of a sudden?
Mr. Naruto, be careful. It must be the trunk.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What the hell? What was that? What the... What? Why? Why did you do that? Did you need... Really? Do you really need to do that? Okay. Alright. So I've had enough of real dogs, like in the real world, leaping at me to try to murder me. I didn't need it to happen in a game, too. Can we keep... Oh my Jesus Christ almighty. Okay. You know... There comes a time when you sit and think... I mean, it was hilarious, obviously, just to see the dog jumping up at the camera. But also, it's like Vietnam flashbacks. I've gone... Let me get up from the floor. Get back in my chair. Hold on a second. I've gone on several rants in the past about how throughout many instances in the past, there have been dogs, namely for Forgot 45 dogs. I mean, really just dogs in general, but specifically for Forgot 45's dogs. Her dogs are massive. You may as well call them horses for how insanely massive and intimidating they are. And they just don't like me. I don't think they like people in general, but maybe it's just me. I don't really know, but they just want, like, we have to put, whenever I'm over there at her place, we have to put them in a separate room so they don't try to kill me, because if they get out of the room, give it a split second, they will try to murder me without fail. So I've ranted about it several times before. Long-time viewers of the channel. I think the first time I mentioned it was in Ghost Trick Phantom Detective was when I first brought this up. But yeah, this long-time viewers will know that this is a thing for me. I am, like, it's just, I don't know what it is. Because, like, every cat I've ever met, like, cats are cute and cuddly, and they don't try to kill you. They're just you know, cute and cuddly. But dogs are like vicious predators that want to murder you and eat you alive. So yeah, didn't need a little reminder of that. Thanks, game. Also, if you play this in the if I play this in the 3DS, something jumping out of the screen, no thanks, no thank you. I'll pass.
Gina, quickly, hail a carriage.
Wait, did the dog actually... Where am I gonna wake up? Wait, the dog actually, like, killed me? Okay, great, we're dead. Awesome. Welcome to the afterlife. But honestly, if there was ever a way for me to go out, it would be by being murdered by a dog. Okay.
Mr. Naruto, are you alright?
Mrs. Sato. Oh, great. Just what I wanted to see when I woke up was... See, what you want to see when you wake up is Sato and her quivering eyes. What you don't want to see is immediately next to her, conscious again at last. A blessed relief, my dear fellow. I knew exactly what you wanted to see when you woke up. It was me, the great detective, Sherlock Holmes. It's like, no, on the one side of the screen, we have exactly what you want to see when you wake up. And on the other side, you see Sherlock Holmes. After all, to be dropped dead after a moderate licking by a small terrier is unseemly.
What is...
I love that animation of him just flailing into the ground like a worm. It's so funny.
What is or isn't seemly is irrelevant here, Mr. Sholmes.
Gotta love Susato.
I'm so glad there's no lasting damage. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, thank you. Did you bring me back here? Ah, what's this on my head? A bandage?
Sadly, we had no ice. So, that's a compress of sugar water.
Also, don't think you're gonna trick me, game. I see what you're doing, game. You want me to forget about the trunk. You want me to forget to examine the trunk because we got attacked by the dog. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Your tricks don't work. Oh, that's some blood. Your tricks aren't working on me, buddy. Your tricks are not working on me. We are gonna check this freaking thing. Look at this dark stain here. Do you think?
Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. So that presumably means
this was present at the scene where Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. I think Gina's been carrying this around with her. If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a re-stamped roll of fish and chips. Does it? I don't know about that. Also, can we open it up? I'd love to open it up. I see what you're doing, game. You wanted to try to trick me. You wanted to try to make me forget to open the trunk by throwing. You know that clip from the Halo Infinite trailer when the brute grabs the grunt and says, "Die for the banished," and throws the suicide grunt at you, armed with 2 plasma grenades ready to explode in your face? Yeah, it's like that, except it's Gina with a dog. Die for Gregson! And she threw the dog at me, tried to kill me. You tried to make me forget to examine the trunk, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, game. Now open up at present time. Open it up and see what's inside. Well, what's inside?
2 bottles of something or other, and some random books, but more importantly, what have we here? Look, there's something inside.
Ooh, let's see. It appears to be a passport, authorizing him to travel overseas.
Well, Inspector, well, I mean, yeah, we knew he was going to go to Paris. Like, we knew he was going to Paris.
Perhaps the day of the departure might tell something. That was...
Oh, what is it?
It's to travel on October 31st, one day before the incident.
What? Really? Huh. Interesting. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered? That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, well, good thing I didn't forget to check that then. Good Lord Almighty. Great. Back to the wonderful world of Shomes. Sugar water?
Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. It's the first aid treatment that my father taught me.
Oh. Thank you. At least you did something.
So, let us take tea when you're feeling up to it. But of course, no sugar in the patient's cup.
Ugh. The bump on my head is throbbing sweetly enough, don't worry.
Maybe you feel ready then.
Also, question, where did Iris go? Oh, are we not going to talk about where the hell Iris went? I feel like we should mention where Iris went. Oh, also, can we give Gina a piece of our mind, please? Where's Gina? Where'd Gina go? Where's Gina? Here she is. Hey, Gina. I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. Can you get your stupid little dog under control? Maybe it's not a smart idea to go back to the... Okay, wait, oh, don't tell me Gina left. Don't tell me she left. Ah, hey, Gina. I got a word with you, Gina. Stupid little dog, Gina. What? You're sorry? What do you mean you're sorry? You're the victim here. You got mauled by a dog. What are you apologizing for?
It's Doc, didn't it? If you asked me a year ago, the cops could go hang for all I cared. But we gotta have a police game. We to catch the bludgers. So us divers can go about our business in peace.
Wait, sorry? I don't think I can have heard that properly.
He said he was gonna teach me everything I needed to know to be a detective. But all he got round to show me is where the best flaming fish and chip shops are.
Actually, that reminds me. Gregson said he was supposed to be going to Paris in the near future, didn't he? Is something wrong?
Oh, no. I'm sure I'm reading too much into things. It's just that the timing seems very coincidental.
Hmm?
You know, the boss was acting a bit strange recently. Like he was always in a rush.
Best chips in town. Wait, that was a... Oh, that was an accolade, I guess. Can we... Okay, okay, so I wanted to come back here and give Gina a piece of mind, like, hey, your stupid dog tried to murder me. Apology where? But no, we just wanted to hear... We came here to hear about his stupid fish and chips. Great. Well, I'm glad I wasted my time. Okay, let's go. I said let's go back. Leave. Go back home and let's have a chill pill. Also, so what I wanted to say is, where the hell did Iris go? Where is she? Oh, we're here. Oh, okay. I guess we're here now. Okay then. That's a way to open a scene. Okay, so we come home, we hear this. Like, imagine coming home and you just walk in the room and you hear that eerie song just emanating from a speaker somewhere and you don't know what the hell's going on. And then you pan to the left and you see the 10-year-old girl next to a man with a mask on his face, which we know is Mikataba, obviously, passed out on the couch. This game, I swear, I can't catch a break with this game. It's just something happens every 5 seconds. Anyway, I guess there's our answer. Iris is here, but why is she here? What is going on here? What, am I having a bad dream? My thoughts exactly. What is happening here? What the?
No, it's an old German folk song. Rather a fine rendition, I think.
That's the least of my concerns.
Iris? I have many questions.
Iris, what's the matter? Iris? Also, you did a shit job of running away.
Who's that sprawling?
I think it's your father. I mean, it looks like him, doesn't it? It looks like he has the same dress and the same suit and the same hat, right?
I mean, that relaxed gentleman over there.
Iris, is she even listening? By the way, this is what I was gonna say, is you did a shit job of running away. She ran away because she was afraid to talk to us about the secret or whatever, and she ran back home. Great job.
Excuse me, sir. I do apologize for troubling you whilst you're singing so merrily, but would you be so kind enough to explain the situation?
Well, that worked.
A crooning gentleman and a mute young girl. A rather tantalizing juxtaposition. And one that appears to have incited the gods of seduction within me to find the oh, no.
Ah, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean?
The strains of reasoning within me are playing now as a delightful duet on now. One melody sings of a reunion full of nostalgia, whilst the other is a morose theme about the great secret you're trying so desperately to conceal, Iris.
She's turned as white as a sheet. So as usual, you've instantly seen to the very heart of the matter. Yeah, as usual, you've bungled up. I mean, let me amend that for you. As usual, you've bungled everything massively. You have no idea what you're talking about, as usual.
And by the time my own brief performance is over, I feel sure this gentleman's song will reach its finale. So then, to Musicland, where all is sweetness and delicacy and harmony. Pray, do enjoy Sherlock Holmes' latest logic and reasoning spectacular.
Oh, great. Here we go again. The great deduction. The game is afoot. All right. This time with Iris. Is that not? I swear that's. Does that not look like Mikotaba? In fact, does that not look like his suit and his hat? Am I let me check real quickly. Does that not look like his hat? It looks like him, right? I swear that's him. But okay.
Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly, he's a German with no grasp of the English language.
Okay, so I didn't think that was him singing. I thought that was a speaker or something, like a gramophone that was obviously not a speaker because we're, you know, like a gramophone or something that was playing the song. I didn't think it was him singing because his mouth's not moving at all.
He's a German with no grasp of the English language, as evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand one asked to assist. So, why is the man here at all in such an apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel the particular part of this mystery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the herbal tea. You obviously offer our German guest a cup of your latest herbal blend. The tea's delicate, delectable flavor has made the man's spirits soar, and it resulted in this joyful ditty tumbling incessantly from his lips. I eagerly await something to favor myself, that I may join the fellow in his state of elation. Now, to the next question.
I'm sorry, he looks passed out. I feel like I'm just disconnected from the game because it looks like he's passed out and not, like, singing. Okay.
Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the SETI? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. He required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was William Gottschalk Sigismund von Ormstein.
Okay. Okay, then.
The King of Germany.
What?
If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question. That mask belongs to the king.
I love just zooming on Iris' face like, you what, mate? What?
It would appear that His Majesty remembers the fine service I afforded him, and has decided to show his face again, mask and all, in order to express his gratitude. A well-mannered monarch indeed. Wouldn't you agree, my dear fellow?
Iris is like, what are you talking about? Like, it's in her best interest to discuss, for him to not solve the mystery, and even she's like, what are you talking about?
So the identity of this masked visitor is in fact my former client, the King of Germany. Indeed, his son is currently in London as well, enjoying the wonders of the Great Exhibition.
No. No. What are you... Okay. The King of Germany. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my god. Okay. Whatever you say.
Which leaves us...
Also, isn't that just the mask that Kazuma was wearing? Because, like, the mask was on the table and now it's not on the table, and that's not Kazuma, but, you know, I swear he's... Like, does the game want me to think that he's asleep? Or, sorry, that he's awake and is singing? Because it doesn't look like it. It looks like he's asleep, Like, you'd think the fact that his cup was like his hands dangling and his barely holding onto the cup, and his mouth is hung open, not because like it's not like the game can't move people's lips. It can, it has, it does, and it will. So I don't. Is it just the game messing up, or is it just Airlock being an idiot again? Because I swear he's asleep right now, and that mask is not his. It's freaking Kazuma's mask. So
Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Also, doesn't Mikotaba have a mustache as well? Yeah, I swear to God. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that knapsack. A £5 note, I believe. I must say, as your compatriot, I'm deeply saddened. I will appear that you've allowed yourself to be bribed into silence by His Royal Highness, earning yourself some spending money in exchange for keeping quiet about the king's secret. And now, the final piece of the puzzle. What is this secret you've strived to hide with your silence, Iris? Ah, yes. We need only follow that brief involuntary twitch of your eyes to find the answer. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. What? Wait, what? My favorite coffee cup, in fact. Or should I say, the handle of my favorite coffee cup. What? It appears that His High-Spirited Highness broke it in the midst of his hijinks. Which leads us to the sad truth. My favorite coffee cup has been broken by the King of Germany. And Iris, you tried to conceal it from me. What? What? I shall have a bill sent via governmental channels to the German royal family for its replacement.
What are you talking about? Like, I just need a clip to come in here and say,
What? What are you talking about?
Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this painful puzzle.
what are you talking about? Like, there's a gramophone right there! It's right there! Am I going insane? Or is that not what, that's gotta be where the sound's coming from, right? Like, this is the thing. Does the game want me to think that he's actually singing, or is it just part of his stupid deduction failings again? Because I swear it's gotta be, it even sounds like it's coming out of a gramophone.
With your silence as well, the fellow's jovial warbling rather rings in the ears, does it not?
Mr. Sholmes? I must say something does rather trouble me.
Pray, Mrs. Utter, do tell.
His Royal Highness doesn't appear to have moved a muscle since we arrived.
Ah,
And you haven't said a word either, Iris. If Mr. Sholmes has it all right, you might as well own up to it now. She obviously doesn't have it all right. Obviously. When has Airlock Sholmes ever gotten anything right in his life?
your reasoning isn't entirely without substance, I must admit, unlike yours.
And one other thing, Mr. Sholmes.
Yet another grievance, Mr. Namahodo? Surely not.
Well, I actually read the story of that case recently. The one you were just describing. According to that at least, it wasn't the King of Germany, it was the King of Bohemia. Oh boy.
Goodness, was it?
Yes, that's quite true. Master Gotz, the prince, testified to that in court. In his words, I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia.
Great job, Sholmes. You bungled it all.
I will ask you to keep that minor to yourselves. It could easily become quite a scandal.
I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that it's our turn now to make some corrections to a number of minor errors that may have slipped.
Minor errors? I swear to God, it's like, I see the same thing every time with games and movies and books and everything and shows and everything between. It's just like, oh, sure, that's a problem, but that's really just such a minor thing. It's just so small, such a nitpick. It's like, Susato is the equivalent of that's just a nitpick, except instead of for entertainment, it's for people, and by people I mean Mr. Sholmes. Although it's clear that Iris is definitely hiding something. We need to find out the truth behind this mysterious scene.
But one truth is incontrovertible. My favorite coffee cup is no more. So, shall we embark again on the joint presentation of Sherlock Holmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular?
I will say, for as insane as Sherlock Holmes is, the dance of deduction has really grown on me. Like, it may just be visual splendor and, like, just, it's all in the style of the presentation and the camera angles and the dancing, but I won't deny that it's a hell of a lot of fun to watch. I swear, does that not look like him? I swear. Yeah, okay, well, now we do the thing where we wait for the game to stop it. Yep, there we go. So what? It's some mix of herbs that gives you the urge to sing? Goodness, I should like to try some. And I'd like to hear you sing your singing, but this man... Just how long does he intend to keep up with that tune, do you suppose? As I said, he's been stuck still the entire time. If you look closely, his lips aren't moving either. Okay, so it's not the game messing up. It is him failing to do so. Okay, so I thought it was going crazy for a second there. Okay, so the gramophone's right behind. Can I not? There it is. Hi. Hi there, gramophone. Like, I don't... Because, like, that's the mask of Kazuma, but that doesn't look like Kazuma. That looks like Mikotaba. I mean, it may not be either of them, but I'm pretty sure it's not Kazuma, but I'm pretty sure it's not Kazuma, but I think it might be Mikotaba. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the gramophone. Indeed. Could you get any closer to the camera, buddy? For no well-bred gentleman would break into an obscure folk song when making a social call. In other words, this gentleman isn't singing at all, in fact. It would appear that the fellow is unconscious. It took you until now to piece that together. Okay. Ah, the music seems to have stopped now. I'm sorry, that's just creepy. That's just creepy! I ask you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Why would I have purchased a recording of that gibberish? How should I know? well, never mind. On with the direction. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the city? And now we skip ahead until the game stops us again. King of Germany, my ass. Oh, good Lord Almighty. Alright, we stop here, maybe? There we go, alright. We have stopped here. Although we've already established it was actually the King of Bohemia, it seems Mr. Sholmes intends to persist with his Germany theory for some reason. Come to think of it, the young prince was wearing a mask as well, wasn't he? Master Gotz? The boy whom you had in tears? Don't remind me. Or anyone else. Do you suppose all members of the aristocracy of mainland Europe wear masks? I'm sure they do. Well, nowadays, yes. The point is, that mask doesn't belong to any king. No, that's right, as we well know. Because we can identify the true owner of this mask. Okay, the owner of the mask, yes, but that doesn't look like Kazuma. That doesn't look like him at all. Like, I get that that's his mask that was sitting on the table here, but that doesn't look like him. Yes, there can be no question. The mask belongs to Kazuma Asogi. In other words, my memory is sublimely unreliable. Only you could try to make that sound positive. Kazuma's mask has been languishing on this metal chest for several days, though that doesn't explain why the gentleman is wearing it now. Well, actually, I guess... actually, wait, so... I guess Iris thinks she could, like, kill two birds with one stone, like, if she needed something from inside the metal, because I've never thought about it, but that has been there forever. I've never thought about what's inside the metal chest. So if Iris needed to get something inside the chest, she takes off the mask so that she can open it up, and then puts the mask on him to kind of conceal him and the... Oh, okay. But it is now a simple matter to determine our guest's true identity. After all, the gentleman is unconscious. We need only excuse ourselves in advance, gently lift the mask and peer beneath it. I don't believe it. Ah! Yeah, I knew... Father! Yeah, I knew that was him from the moment we walked through the doors. This is not a big surprise. I took one look at him and I knew it was him. I'm afraid, Mrs. Sato, you must be mistaken.
No! I think not, Mr. Sholmes.
Then it would appear our logic and reasoning has once again revealed the truth. This mysterious visitor.
It's my unconscious father, Yuji Mikotaba.
I would have been really helpful to have this clip before... Never mind. Logic and reasoning, or just looking and saying. Oh my god. Well, there's... I mean... I knew it was him the moment I looked at him. That's no surprises. No surprises there. Now, as for what your secret is, that's a bit of a different matter entirely. Which leaves us with one... Yeah, okay. Skip ahead till we are stopped by the game. So that's a £5 note poking out from Iris' knapsack, is it? Oh dear, I can't be sure. Most money that we encounter is in coin form. I know, I'm not even sure if we've seen any banknotes here in Britain at all, have we? But anyway, Father would never have paid money for Iris' silence. Are you sure about that? He certainly seems like the silent type himself, though, judging by his present state. Must be some other reason for Iris' silence, I suppose. Perhaps what Iris is trying so hard not to give away with her eyes is something entirely different. Perhaps the chest that she had to take the thing off to get into? Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that metal chest.
An excellent observation, for upon closer inspection, there is something different about the chest's appearance. It's kept locked at all times, yet now the catch is open. Evidently, this has something to do with your refusal to speak, Iris. But it's simple enough matter to incite you to speak, I'm sure.
I merely need to open this chest.
Here we go.
No! Hurley, don't!
What? Wait. What just happened? He's dead. Never.
Oh, Hurley, I told you not to open it.
Why is there a skull over there? So you found your voice now, Iris.
Ah!
In other words, what just happened clearly reveals the truth here. Yes, the reason for your silence until now is...
This is somewhat different from the usual dance deduction you perform, Mr. Sholmes, isn't it?
Well, he's let me learn on the ballroom floor, so I'm going to have to dance this next part solo. Anyway, I need to get to the bottom of this for my own peace of mind. Now then, Iris isn't usually the silent type, so...
You mean you don't actually know the answer yet? Despite that knowing point of the finger before.
Mr. Sato, sometimes a man needs to point his finger first and think later.
Oh, well, if you say so, I think we better examine Iris more closely and try to rescue the situation then.
Why couldn't Iris open her mouth the whole time? Is there something in her mouth that is... no, okay, we know the thing's broken. Is there Take
that!
Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is that key behind your back. Ah! Mr. Sholmes was thrown into the air before. Just before you called out to try to stop him, you slipped something out of your mouth. That something is the key now in your hands without the key to the chest.
You're so clever, Runo.
So now it becomes clear. Thanks to Sholmes' graphic demonstration, we can well imagine what happened here.
But
Professor Nikotaba has also opened that metal chest only to be punched into the air. And land sprawled onto the settee.
But wait, that doesn't explain all the facts. What about the stylish scarf and the cup of tea? And above all, why would he be wearing Kazuma-sama's mask?
Well, for those curious details, I can only think of one explanation. Clearly an unbelievable miracle took place in this room. Isn't that right, Iris? Consider how the room was arranged before this whole painful experience took place. When Professor Nikotaba opened the chest, completely unaware of what awaited him inside, a mask was flung into the air just as he was, only to land neatly on his face when it... I don't know about that one. Hold on. Really? Okay. That's... I can buy the tablecloth landing on him, but the mask landing on his face and the cup landing with... No, come on now. This is the great detective's office after all, a place of miraculous deductions. It's just... Oh. Now that's awesome. Now that is freaking awesome. That's awesome to see both of them. That's cool. That's really cool. To see both, because instead of it being Rinosuke and Airlock, to see both, him and Susato being the one, that's really cool. That's really awesome. But also, can we take a second to talk about what happened there? There's just a punching Why is there... That's like a Looney Tunes cartoon. You open the metal chest and you get punched into the ceiling. Like, what? What was that? What is happening in this game? What is this game? I don't know what's going on anymore. I actually don't know what's going on anymore. Where this is just constant, non-stop insanity and I'm all here for it. What is happening? Okay, alright, random Looney Tunes contraptions going off all over the place.
Yes, you're right. It happened exactly as you said. Brilliant, Runo.
Thus concludes Ryunosuke Naruhodo's great deduction of this punchy puzzle. Also, that would never have happened the way that it did, with the thing landing on his face.
So then, why don't I make a fresh pot of tea for us all?
Objection!
Oh, what?
And as an admirable performance, Mr. Naruhodo. But in the final act of the show there, you either miss everything of importance.
Mr. Sholmes?
If you would cast your mind back to my earlier deduction. Iris, clearly you're hiding a great secret.
She is. And the look on her face. Mr. Sholmes must be right. Whatever that great secret is, the cat isn't out of the bag yet.
I put it to you again. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee.
No, what are you it probably has to do with...
It really is a shame on Mr. Sholmes' cup.
I don't care about a stupid cup.
Oh dear.
Well, now that the deduction has taken a different direction, I doesn't seem to be trying to hide the broken cup anymore.
In other words, a great secret is something else.
Let's put our observational skills to work here one final time, then. Is it something... What else did we miss? Like, I can assume that it has to do with the freaking... The Van Zie's case file, but... Can I find that in the room somewhere? I feel like there's a lot of things... Okay, I don't even... Is it that? No, where's... Is it just blatantly... Am I just missing it in a blatantly obvious spot? Wait, is it maybe... Is this... Can I open up her knapsack and see if it's inside there, maybe? Surely this time, at last, knapsack is going to be the answer. I'm really not sure what... I'm really not sure why you're so intent on showing Iris' bag to be complicit in these events. Because it's a sizable bag. Big enough to carry things around us in Naruhodo. That's what bags are for. So, the knapsack might never see the limelight, you mean? I really wouldn't like to say. Okay, so I guess I can't open it up. Okay, I guess I can't check that. I would assume it has to do with the freaking case file, but I don't see it anywhere. Is it hiding in the background and I'm blind as a bat? Where the hell is it? Okay, let's try. So it's trying to abscond with the coffee cup, so it's gotta be... Oh, wait, is it she? Oh, sneaky little Iris. Very sneaky, Iris. Very clever. So you were trying to abscond with something. Oh, very sneaky. Very sneaky, Iris. You were attempting to abscond with that case file.
Iris, as you know very well, nothing escapes the attention of the great detectives.
Oh no!
Yeah, I never could have done this investigation in one video. This is insane. We're almost at 2 hours in this recording session. I might even split this up. I'm not sure yet. We visited Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory earlier today. And Dr. Goy informed us that the autopsy report of Clint Van Zieks had gone missing.
Clint Van Zieks? Yes, I do seem to recall. That some years ago I asked to see the report in question. You were with me, weren't you, Iris?
Okay, but like, why? Why do you care about Clint Van Zieks? Of all people in the world. You mean it was you, Iris? So those papers you have there are...
I'm sorry.
She finally admits it.
Forgive me!
Yeah, so remember earlier when I was talking about how Iris and Airlock Sholmes have had less of an impact in this game? That lasted about one episode. Jesus! What is happening anymore? This has got to be the most insane episode that we've had yet.
In truth, I would like to have thought that I could have predicted the booby-trapped chest.
Again, why was the... Why?
And it caught me completely off guard. I was very nearly the late consulting detective Sherlock Holmes.
I'm sorry, Hurley.
So you mean this autopsy report really is...
Yes, I took it from the lab, even though I knew it was very important. Was there something in it that troubled you, Iris? Not exactly something that troubled me. Something I've been looking for. When I saw this report, when I saw the writing in it, I knew it was Daddy's.
The writing? Your father's writing? What do you really mean? Iris? No, Sholmes! Not the time, Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what is it?
I feel as though the four unconscious gentlemen on the Saturday has been somewhat forgotten.
Ah! No one cares about him. I don't... Go back to talk about Iris. I don't care.
Perhaps you should finally get someone more peaceful.
I don't care! No one cares about him! Were you gonna gloss over that?
Would you be so kind as to let him...
He can sleep wherever the hell he wants, I don't give a shit. Yes, of course, I'll carry him up.
No, I can imagine alone, thank you. You have tea to enjoy. We wouldn't want Iris's brew to stew.
Because there's no better way to make the professor comfortable than dragging him upstairs like a trunk. I wonder. Perhaps it was deliberate. Maybe Sherm's making himself scarce to give Iris a chance to talk more freely. Iris? We must use the opportunity to talk with Iris. Did you say what I think you just said? It was Daddy's writing. Would you like to tell us about it, Iris, about your father?
I'm sure I told you before, didn't I? That Daddy used to be Hurley's partner.
Yes, and that note's all about all the cases they solved together kept inside that metal chest.
That's right, Hurley told me, you see. He'd said that Daddy's somewhere far away now, so we can't meet.
That's one way of describing it.
Then, when I secretly unlocked the chest and read through the papers inside, I started to build up a picture in my head of what Daddy must be like.
That's only natural. You're just like any other girl of your age.
I read that Daddy was a professor of medical science, so I studied and took my degree too.
Well, that's only natural, I suppose.
In that respect, you're not quite like any other girl of your age, though. But there was one thing that I could never find out. Daddy's name.
Ah.
His name wasn't anywhere on any of the notes that he'd made about his work with Hurley. Then one day...
That's what happened, is it? When you saw this autopsy report, you finally managed to work it out, is that right?
Yes.
So it was the handwriting in the report that caught her eye.
When I saw the writing in the report, I could hardly believe it. I know that handwriting, I thought to myself.
Because it was the same as the writing you'd seen on your father's case notes.
Exactly. I was desperate to compare the two properly and needed to see them side by side. I asked the doctor in the laboratory, but I was told I couldn't take the report away. Even worse, I was told that was the first and last time I would be allowed to even look at it there.
So you decided to steal it.
When I compared the autopsy report with the case notes I had here, there was no doubt. Handwriting was exactly the same. It was Daddy's.
And the signature of the coroner at the bottom of the autopsy report read Dr. John H. Wilson.
That's how I finally found out. I learned Daddy's name at last.
I see.
Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson, and that's also when I had the brilliant idea of writing stories all about Daddy's exciting times with Hurley. I decided there and then that I'd write the adventures of Airlock Sholmes. Oh, Iris, I had no idea the stories had quite such a deep personal significance for you.
I can see why the autopsy report was so important to her now. And why she was prepared to break the law to get her hands on it. Jesus, man, this game. Oh, not Sholmes. Oh, it's Sholmes.
This is really all my fault.
Hurley?
I made a promise, you see, that until the time was right, I'd keep the details about your father a secret.
I know. I've been very naughty. I'll take the autopsy report back to Dr. Gorey and apologize, I promise.
Yes, we'll go together, I think.
Then, let me look after it for you until we get there. Yeah, look after it in the court record, because this isn't going to have any relevance to anything at any point. Okay, hold on. You know the drill. Alright, name, Clint Van Zeeks, 33, Australia British, John H. Wilson, May 31st, 9 p.m. at midnight. Death from a single stab wound to the heart, other superficial external wounds indicative of a duel. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no document in corresponding ink was found. That is an extremely obscure detail to make. Vital evidence recovered from the victim's stomach during autopsy. Credit to Inspector Gregson for petitioning so doggedly for the autopsy procedure. No internal trauma noted anywhere in the body. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting indeed.
I must go and water my herbs, I think.
You bounce back quickly.
I'll see you all later.
Jesus, man! Poor Iris, you must be feeling awful. I know Mr. Sholmes is here for her, but still. It's not much.
Ah!
Oh, now what?
What? How? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes?
Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, dear me. So, you've noticed, I see.
But that would mean... What on earth's the matter, Mr. Sato? You've turned white as a sheet. It's this autopsy report, Mr. Naruhodo. The writing... It isn't Dr. Wilson's at all.
What?
What do you... How could you possibly know that? Because... I know this...
Oh, it's her father. It's her father.
This writing... It's my father's... Yup. What? I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew that sack of shit had something to hide. I knew it.
Indeed, it's true. And now you know, my dear fellows.
No, I don't know anything. What does all this mean, Mr. Sholmes? Because the idea that's slowly forming in my mind, it's just too extraordinary to believe. Please, you have to explain. Sholmes, start talking now. So, this autopsy report was actually Lieutenant Pember person Mikotaba then? But that makes no sense. It's impossible, surely.
Not possible, my dear fellow. Pray, take a deep breath and think again.
Yes, you're right. In some ways, it actually makes a great deal of sense. It does? 10 years ago is when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain.
And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikotaba engaged?
Of course, he was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory.
And as an assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed notes, which would be assembled into the full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the contents and put his signature on the document.
In other words, the only writing of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature at the end. I see. So Iris got the wrong end of the stick, you mean? She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson, but if that's true, it's very understandable, of course. What a complicated situation. But that means that she's comparing the handwriting, so Dr. Wait, so what, so the guy in, wait a minute! I mean, not the guy in London, the guy in Japan that was died, that was killed in the first place. Most of what we know about human systems come from the puppet stories of your exploits. Yes, the Adventures of Airlock Sholmes written by Iris. But if she's comparing the handwriting of those notes with the handwriting on the thing that was remembered as Professor Mikotaba, then her father wasn't actually, and we really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction.
It's troubling for you, my dear fellow, I'm sure.
So what about this supposed partner of yours? Did he really exist or not?
Ah, you've come straight to the point, I see.
And please come straight to the answer.
I believe I was explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade, and the only person I could truly have called a friend.
And did this partner of yours truly make a record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside that metal chest if you can make it past the punching fist of death?
Absolutely, my dear madam, absolutely.
So, where's your partner now?
We rarely meet. You see, he lives on the other side of the world.
But if this autopsy report and the records of all your old cases were penned by the same hand, and if the autopsy report was written, though not signed by your famous partner, there would be only one logical conclusion.
Pray, impress me.
Your partner would have to be Yujin Mikotaba. In other words, Miss Susato's father.
Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
You are coming along wonderfully. You've hit upon the method at last. You've finally grasped the art of deduction.
Finally? You mean to say?
Allow me to introduce you to my great friend and partner,
Mikotaba, no wonder your deductions are so shit, because he's your partner? What is happening anymore? What is this game? What the hell? What the? Wait. Okay, I don't give a shit about him. But that means that he's her father. So she didn't. So obviously her father isn't Mikotaba. Let's make that crystal clear. But okay. She said that she only named herself Wilson after she made the connection that Dr. John H. Wilson had the same handwriting as the people that was writing the things. So her last name may not actually be Wilson. So who's her father then? Because if that has nothing, if that has no connection to literally anything at all, then who the hell is her father? What this is happening? Does this mean that you're the real Dr. Wilson?
No, my dear, I'm still my old self, the same sack of shit that helped spawn you.
Oh, of course. This is obviously too much for Sato-san to take in.
I must say, though, how my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. Well, it's easier without you dragging him down. I still remember the first time we met. Pray remind me. When was it again, Mikotaba? 16 years ago, Sholmes. Yes, quite. 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Sashiro and Genshin. Since I was in search of lodgings close to the hospital, some comfortable rooms at a reasonable price, but rents aren't definitely high in a particular area. That's right, so I decided I needed someone to share lodgings and the expense, and was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sholmes, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of the great detective you see before you now. Oh, so you were even dumber somehow? I was working at the hospital's chemical laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for little gain. And the situation of our cohabitation led us to pursuing cases together, you see. Hard to believe, it was a mere 6 years ago. We had a great many adventures. But then the last year Mikotaba stayed in Britain. That most infamous of cases presented itself. The case with which you've become rather familiar yourselves, the professor killings. After the trial, Sashiro and I were summoned back home.
Hardly surprising, given the circumstances.
So there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest.
This is just amazing! Professor Mikotaba really is Mr. Sholmes' famous partner. How you doing there, Susato? Father.
Good goodness, my dear, what a cutting look.
As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you were the great detective's great partner. But nevertheless, there's another mystery that I really must ask you to explain now.
And that is?
You know very well what it is.
Haha, give it to him. The unresolved matter of Iris' father. Oh, of course. I almost forgot about that one too. I certainly didn't.
I should have seen this coming, I suppose.
Who the hell?
Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest were written by her father. Isn't that correct, Mr. Sholmes?
That is indeed what I told young Iris.
But if you're Mr. Sholmes' partner, father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris' father must be—
Yeah, no, that's not. He's not. No, he's not. I mean, no. Just no.
Upon my word, Mr. Sato. You are coming along wonderfully as well. You too have hit upon the method at last. You've finally grasped the art of deduction.
What? No. No.
What you've always told me, father, is that my mother died when I was born 16 years ago, and you left me in grandmother's care whilst you embarked on your study tour of Britain, and I've always accepted that. But all this about Iris.
Ooh, there it is. Susato-san's ice-cold stare.
No, hold on a minute. It was very complicated.
I mean, it's really not what you think. Then perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is. Yes! Susato, take down! Susato, take down! Yes! Do it! No, I want to see it! No! How dare you, piece of shit! Oh, you dangled the Susato takedown of Mikotaba in front of me, and then you ripped it away from me, you pieces of shit.
That's quite enough, my fiery fellows.
Mr. Sholmes, when did you get all dressed up?
As I don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past.
Yeah, so I don't believe for even a split second that, I mean... By the way, it's not in my best interest to not believe that, because the idea of what they're implying he did would only further my belief that he's just a shitty person. But, like, let's be clear here. I don't buy that for a second. There's no way they would make, like, they've already dropped one major bombshell about his about his history. It's gotta be, I don't know who it would be, but it's gotta be someone else.
Mikotaba and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion.
But it's very late, Mr. Sholmes. Where must you go?
Why, my dear madam, is it not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So, get your coat, Mikotaba. The game is afoot.
But Sholmes, I really must give Susato a full explanation, I think.
Later, my dear fellow, later. Our carriage awaits downstairs already. You haven't changed one iota, have you? I mean, really. I visited our home after 10 long years, and when I opened that chest in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably passed out. And as if that wasn't enough, when I eventually regained consciousness, I'm yeah, that's at least what you deserve. Oh, woe is me. Oh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river.
Father, please. Go with Mr. Sholmes now. I'll kick your ass when you get back.
What?
I have no doubt that whatever happened, you were acting in everyone's best
You have way too much faith in him.
I trust you completely.
I don't know why.
Susato.
And sending the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together is more than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams.
Very well then. We'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day. I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. Yes, Naruhodo, good luck in battle, and in reaching a decision.
A decision? Whether to go back to Japan, I suppose? Yeah, we're staying here. We're not leaving. We're not leaving. It's not happening. We're staying
So
here.
much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself. It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth, and that all the turmoil was necessary to give me the resolve to see everything through.
And that's our to be continued for the day, and then we'll go into trial tomorrow, I assume. What? End? What? You what? Huh? Huh? That was the case? You leave, oh, wow. I wasn't prepared to give a case summary today. That was the case? Okay, we gotta slow down. Okay, we gotta rewind. My brain, I can't. What? The last 2 hours was just non-stop insanity. First off, it didn't feel like 2 hours. That flew by in a flash. Second off, I don't even know what just happened. Everything from Iris to Mikotaba to freaking the crazy gory girl to everything, the Gina, Tobias, everything. That was just non-stop. Every other second was something crazy happening. It was awesome, but holy hell, I can't process all this at once. Also, so that confirms my suspicions then. So, remember earlier when I was talking about how this case feels like it's supposed to be a lot of setup for a payoff, and how the actual murder mystery of what's going on with like the Redheaded League and all that was kind of like shoehorned in? I think that's exactly what happened. I think what happened is they needed case 4 to be the setup case to the finale, the final case where everything gets paid off. That's clearly what this, because that's all this case was constant setup. Constant setups with Van Zeeks, the Red-Headed League, and Iris, Mikotaba, and Judge Chikogo, and everything. Every single person around the bend. Everyone has a secret. Everyone has their own little thing that they're hiding, doing their own little crazy little wacko adventure, and it's all being like just non-stop setup of investigations to pay off in a trial in the 5th case. And honestly, it makes me think that this case probably should have been just investigation, because I know what you're going to say,
But you said that case 2 in the first game was only investigation. You didn't like that.
correct, I did say that. However, that was a self-contained case, where like that case had a beginning, a middle, and end, and it told a complete story. And if you're gonna do that, you are missing a vital part of the Ace Attorney experience if you do it without a trial. Whereas this case is the setup for the 5th case. And honestly, if it was only investigation, because like you could do it well, where it's only investigations, then you lead into the next case, which is the trial. In fact, had it been that case 2 was the investigation on the boat, and then you get to London, and you have the trial for the events that took place on the boat, where you have a case 2 pairing, that could have been cool. I think I would have liked that pretty well, actually. But the way they tried to do it in case 2, where it was all self-contained, it was its own little mystery with no trial, that was just weird. That was insanely I don't know why they did that. But if this had been only investigation, and just because the thing is, with the dance of deduction and the constant reveals, this could have been, because again, also unlike case 2, where case 2 was just a slug of nothingness in the first game, this was just non-stop action. And honestly, had this case only been investigation, I might have ranked it higher, because to be completely honest, I think it's actually sinking. Like, yes, that was awesome, but I think that as it stands, it can only breach, like, the top of the good tier at best, because that trial section just felt so, like, I understand that it's, like, Van Zeeks' final showdown, and he's the defendant, he's on trial, but I get this. I think they should have saved that for the final case. They should have saved that where he's the defendant, and Kazuma is the prosecutor. They should have saved that for the final case, and then have that be the final trial. Because trying to interlink it with the investigation, like, 'cause it just what it screams to me was people didn't like in the first game that we had a case that was all investigations, so we can't do it again. We need to have this case have some trial sections in it. But that's almost worse because that's shoehorning it into someplace where it doesn't belong, where it would have naturally been better off without it, as opposed to the first game where that case desperately needed a trial section of some part to balance out the slow and tedious investigation. So I think if they had chopped up the trial and had it been entirely investigation, it would have been awesome. But as it stands, it's probably gonna straddle the line between low end of great, high end, top end of tier, high end of good tier, because I really feel like the trial section just dragged this case down a lot. Because investigations, I was all for. I was in it to win it. I was all there for the investigations. But the trials are just like I made no secret to hide. It's like not really feeling this. I gotta be honest. I feel like we could have done some of the reveals with Mr. Vigil out in another way. It just really feels like they because even the mystery itself, the way it just suddenly snaps to Mr. Vigil telling his story just felt so deliberately like out of nowhere. Like we need to transition to this suddenly because we're still in the trial room. It's just I don't know. It felt like it didn't need to be there, and it was there because they got backlash on the first game's second case. But either way, holy hell. The stakes are through the roof. The amount of things that they have to resolve in one case, which might just be entirely... I think it's actually... honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it was all trial at this point. It wouldn't surprise me if the final case was all trials and no investigation. And it was just non-stop. Trial 1, Trial 2, Trial 3, hell, maybe even a Trial 4, I don't know. Just non-stop action. It wouldn't surprise me, but whatever it is, there's a lot of setups that they gotta pay off, and I am all here for it, even if I am slightly terrified that they're not gonna be able to stick that landing. So, with all that said, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for next time, and I hope to catch you all tomorrow for the start of the final case of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Goodbye!